Evening. Welcome to another
What
day
up?
of the Sports Bible Pod.
You sound like you're an audiobook when you do that.
I
Good
always try
evening.
to talk like a gentleman. I'm here, joined now by my friend Richie Dortis.
Author Richie Dord sounds like.
That's
And we're both writers, it counts.
yeah, that's how it goes. I'm always just talking in that calm voice, just trying to sound authentic, trying to sound what I learned in the field.
Yeah, be
Yes.
you.
Yep. But we're here on a we'll be going on 11:20, 11:30 Wednesday late night
Hey,
after the NBA. We're still in the middle of uh, Portland and Phoenix, but I was about to say after another edition of a doubleheader on ESPN, saw James Harden's home debut in the first one. We're gonna touch up on the Sixers first. Richie is doing his usual cover up of the face because of the Knicks going down once again. I think that's 0-8 on ESPN of the last 8 games. I
I
think
was gonna
Steve
say we beat you guys on ESPN.
TNT.
No, first game of the year.
It was actually, yeah. I
That was
mean,
when we still had hope.
I thought you were talking about the Barrett buzzer beater.
Oh no, I was seeing Spider-Man for that. I actually didn't see that game, but actually, speaking of the first game of the year, the Sixers played Bing Bong tonight when they
It
were like, "What's
was
up?"
loud. I heard it. It was
Yeah,
loud.
yeah, because the Sixers love James Harden right now until he cries and leaves. But we'll get into that.
And yeah, I mean, whole beginning of the game, just to get right into it, whole beginning of the game, just kind of, I don't want to say like a sum up, but like what we've seen a lot from the Knicks this year in the first half when they're up like double digits, 14-20, something like that. I mean, it was 14 tonight. Once it got to 7 at halftime, I was texting you. We kind of knew it was coming. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't looking too safe. They were getting to the line a lot from the very beginning of the game till the end.
the Sixers.
And the two of them just wowed everybody again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pretty sure I saw on Countdown that Philly in the first two games with James were shooting 68% from his passes.
Oh,
Um, and they just continued to roll tonight. The second half, the Knicks kind of stayed in it. It was kept it within 10 a lot. Then it was 7. Then it was 9 a lot. And then it's just like you knew it was happening at the end. I mean, we saw that one block for Mitchell Robinson on Embiid. Did you see that? We didn't talk about that.
it was on like a jumper, right?
I was impressed. That was very good defense. This whole time, I'm like, are they going to put him on him the whole game? Are they going to even try some Julius? Are they going to go Jericho Sims again?
Yeah, he's. I appreciate like them putting him in the game, but he hasn't played a lot in the last couple of games, mainly because he's gotten into foul trouble. So like it's not a
Yeah,
rotational thing. It's the fact that he's in foul trouble. That's why I'm shocked Cam Reddish played the amount of minutes he did tonight, which was he played 23 minutes and we're raving about it. Well, that's what I've wanted from him. I wanted 20 minutes, see what he could do. In fact, he was the only guy on the team with a plus minus. Nope, not true. He was. I guess I turned the game off. He ended with a -2 plus minus. Um, but 3 for 6, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. But yeah, back to your point though.
I
Yeah,
was actually going to
just
say,
Sims.
yeah, well, I was actually just going to say that about Cam, too. We like that he's been giving us some good run lately. The shots haven't fallen at the rate we'd expect or we wish for. But, like, and JJ Redick said it tonight. I mean, first of all, shout out to him. He got a round of applause from Wells Fargo Center. He did his first play-by-play game broadcast. He was excellent. They love him in Philly. And this surprised me. I mean, we know how great of a sports city they are, how passionate, but it surprised me that he said that that was his two best seasons of his career, two most loved playing for them. It's just a
Was that
surprise.
was that his
He,
best team? Like, was that the best team he was ever on?
that's actually no. I was gonna say I thought you meant his two best seasons. No,
Oh
and
no, no, he was
not
towards the end with the Sixers, right?
yeah, and he made a finals with Orlando in '09. So he that's why it surprised me. It's just because of like how long he's been around, how many teams he's played for. But it could arguably be the best organization besides Orlando at its time.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Orlando, Milwaukee for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Clippers, Philly, New Orleans for we all know his feelings on New Orleans. And he didn't really play much for Dallas. So
Yeah.
um them are the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers are not as big market. It's definitely the biggest market he played in. And maybe he wanted that because of, being from Duke. Like in the big market. He was never gonna be the star in the NBA, just as the way he plays. But looking here, yeah, he played 82 games one year, sharpshooter, 42% from three. That'll get it done.
One of the best to do it. Yeah. And he,
Old man in the three.
I was just going to say in his pod with Marcus,
I like that podcast.
I'm pretty sure he touched on, or he said it at some point, how he was almost a Celtic once or twice. And I appreciate him saying that about Philadelphia because I believe he would have said the same thing if he was ever a Celtic, if that ever came to fruition.
Yeah,
But
I think that it's I think it might, and thinking of it now, it might be the fact that it's like a big market. The city's passionate, and he's a passionate guy. Um,
absolutely, yeah, they
Not
definitely,
saying the other cities aren't, but they're not as big of a market, especially like after Dwight Howard left Orlando.
yeah, and they probably loved him the most as
Hmm.
well. And to the Sixers, they're 3-0 since the trade. Harden is putting up 23, 12, and 9, 12 assists, 9 boards, 59 from the field, 50 from three. Tonight, he had 26, 9 and 9, 8 of 13. Joel had 27, 12 and 4. And the big thing about this that stood out to me, you might be thinking the same thing since the trade in the 3 games, is just how well Tyrese Maxey's played. And now that's 79 points in 4 games. And his last four, he's put up 23, 3.8 rebounds, 3 assists, 56 from the field, 52 from three. And Doc Rivers, I heard during tonight's game, has been touching on it how, he might be his best self off the ball when he's playing with the point guard. And therefore, he isn't a point guard. And that best fits the Sixers now, obviously, with James. And the fact that he's thrived as a third guy, and we saw it Sunday in the first game in New York. And what do you think?
So I'm looking at the lineup now, and I've been a very big fan of Tyrese Maxey. We all know that. I think he's a stud.
Yeah, like
Um, in their starting lineup right now, at least, Thibault is their worst player of their starters. He's not Marcus Smart. He's kind of like Derek White, and that type of player, but he's a starter, really good defender, can shoot a little bit, not really. But I'm looking here at the lineup. Actually, Matisse Thybulle is having a rough year shooting, but I remember last year, every time he plays the Knicks, I feel like he shoots well.
yeah, he'll have
So
those games. It's just only on one end consistently, clearly. But
yeah,
yeah,
but
games.
still defensively, he's really good. So
Yeah,
um, but I'm looking at the lineup: Embiid, Maxey, Harden, and Harris. So I'm asking you, who do you think is their third guy, Harris or Maxey? Because I think it's Maxey. I think Harris kind of falling out of favor a little bit. His game is kind of not like kind of isolation post, and when you have Harden and Embiid, you're not going to get that many opportunities.
yeah, and I do believe it's Maxi as well. And the thing about Toby is that, like, JJ said it himself, is like if when Joel and James go in the pick and roll, if he's not feeding Joel, like it's going to be a lot of Tobias threes that are open, and he's got to knock that down more at a consistent rate. And percentage wise, sometimes he's not where he wants to be from out there. especially in the postseason. We've heard a lot about this guy being overpaid since the Sixers re-signed him with when they tried to re-sign Jimmy Butler as well, and that's his biggest thing. He performs really well in the regular season. He'll get you 18 points. I mean, not now, but he'll get you the high teens, and he'll have a big game where he boards a lot. He's very good in the painted area. He's good on the low block. He's got a nice hook, and posts up a ton. It's just that's his biggest thing is you never see like where was he in that Hawks series? I say it to my friends who are Sixer fans, where was he? And like Tyrese was there, and you know I think it might have been last season. Like there's been times where Tobias has almost been an all-star, and like it just he'll never get there, and he's not that guy to just be a killer for you or get a bucket or like you know um, just be a killer in the playoffs. And it's just Tyrese, the sky's the limit here, only in year two.
I think. Do you think bringing him off the bench would be a good idea? Because if he's unhappy with the Sixers after this year and he wants a trade, all right, they're gonna trade him because they have Harden and Embiid and a rising, in my opinion, star in Tyrese Maxey. So Harris is likely to probably be moved anyway, unless he buys in and wants to be that bench scorer, which I feel like that would work because I'm looking here. The Sixers bench had 21 points. And like Shake Milton had 6, Niang had 6, Green had 6. I don't like that guy. He's always complaining. Oh my god. Good player, champion, 3-time champion, right?
Yeah,
two with San Antonio, 1 with Toronto. And Paul Reed scored a 3, but he played 1 minute. So basically 18 relevant points from their bench. Like, bring Harris off the bench so, like, in the playoffs, or at least for now, but even in the playoffs, like, when you go to a 7-man team or 8-man team, he comes in, you can give Harden or Embiid a blow. Have Harris run that pick and roll with Harden when Embiid's on the bench, so you could do like a pick and pop, pick and slide, and you make the defenders have to defend 2 things for the entire game, rather than when Harden's just on the court, you don't really have like Paul Millsap isn't scaring me.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point. It's just like I wouldn't do it because of not just the price he's making, but if anything, it'd be for more size. Like what you just said, they have Millsap, they have Paul Reed.
Paul Reed doesn't really play though.
Yeah, and
Harris is better than both those guys.
And Millsap doesn't even play a lot of minutes himself, but yeah, clearly he is. It's just like he's more of a wing. They're more like big style players, clearly, and it's just I just don't see him fitting with the second unit that well when you have Niang and you have Danny and
Jake.
Yeah, I was gonna say who am I missing, but he has also proven when he first got into the NBA, especially that he could be, or he could at least have those games where he's scoring Shake Milton. But they got Cauley Stein on the 10-day, and they're interested in DeAndre Jordan after he got waived as well. And so your center help is there. The more the merrier when it comes to those 2 guys. Millsap can give you some run, hopefully consistently in the postseason. But I think Doc said in the beginning, like he wants to run like James, Joel, Maxey, Tobias, 2 of them he wants on the court at the same time at all times. And if that's true, that boosts Philly's title chances a lot more. I think I saw Kevin O'Connor tweeted that from the Ringer, and he couldn't be any more truthful about that.
Yeah. Just to back up my point from way before, Thibault shot 36% his rookie year, and ever since then it's been downhill. Yeah. So maybe that he probably came up like that, and that's where I got that from. I don't really pay attention to Matisse Thibault.
Yeah, me and my friends were actually talking about him the other night, and I said like he hasn't been anywhere offensively. Although that all first team all defense under his belt, but Yeah, since rookie year, he hasn't been there on the offensive end.
Yeah, but like when you have the other four guys scoring, he's like Alex Caruso. Like you don't have to score. He's like I always use Alex Caruso for defense because he's such a good defender, but like, he's like a lesser talented Marcus Smart or on the Knicks.
The talented White, I like that one.
On the Knicks, ooh, Kemba Walker. No, we're not going to talk about him, right? It's not
Yeah.
really much to talk about. What'd you say?
It's just an open question about it. We might as well just move past him. I mean,
He's done. Preparing for next
yeah,
year.
it's just laughable, the whole like, oh, we're gonna rest you for next season. Like, one, you're 90% probably not even gonna be on the team next year, and like, this is the knee thing that I always bring up over and over. I've said it a
You just
million
love
times.
the fact that he's not in the Celtics anymore.
When I really do, because like I didn't even want him to go that badly, and then once like he just wasn't even not that I expected to win, and the amount of times that I said this on the podcast, but the Brooklyn series, we don't got a shot of winning. You can't even play one good game, or can't even play in general. I'm pretty sure he missed 2 of the 5, and like, dude,
That's about right.
the money he was making was just outrageous, and like, I would have liked to have seen his revival in OKC if we could have gotten that. And like, I said it all summer when he went to New York. I was like, if he could be healthy, he could be good.
Yeah.
We know how he is on the other end, but your Knicks,
Yeah, I think this is a good way to segue into them.
yes, to enter the rant, are 1
Um,
and their last 10. Four and a
1-9. Oh,
half, four and a half back of Atlanta for the play-in.
yeah.
22 in defensive rating, the last 15, and 25th in offensive efficiency.
Um,
The bright side is Barrett.
yes.
Last 7 is putting up 28, 4 assists, 5 boards on 42 from
Yeah.
the field and 38 from 3. But go on,
Yeah.
my friend.
Well, to start, I don't hate Julius Randle. I'm adamant on that, and I'm not making excuses for him. Like he played bad a couple games, he played well tonight, but there are serious issues with this team. It's very obvious, and the first thing is Kemba Walker. When I saw you got benched, I'm like, all right, I get it. Knee bad, you're not going anywhere. Play the young guys. And then Tom Thibodeau comes out and says, our best option at point guard is Alec Burks. He's not even a point guard. It's not like Emmanuel Quickly doesn't exist. And Quickly's been struggling a little bit this year. We understand that. What's the worst that happens? You're still losing. You're not winning. You're 4.5 out now. Like it's over. Like although I think they're Atlanta for some reason they seem to beat in the regular season. But besides the point, you're not winning. So what? I'm not saying bench Alec Burks because I see this all the time on Twitter and I agree with it. Alec Burks is fine off the bench. Fine. Cool with that. He is not a starting point guard. And Emmanuel Quickly might not be, but we'll never know if he's on the bench. And that's my first point. Second point with Randall, a lot of it, like people complain he isolates. If you notice, that's a play call. Like that's not like him saying clear out. Like you notice they run a little screen action, like a handoff, dribble handoff, like every team does. And then he's in the post. And they get the ball to him, and that's the play. Because the problem is, what do you want him to do from there? Because even if he passes, no one's moving because it's an isolation. Why not have a back screen? Get a guy open in the corner. Or run a cut. Or a give and go. No. Yeah, Randall, figure it out. Like he was great last year, and he played well tonight. He's doing decent lately. He played well before the All-Star break, struggled a little bit out of it, and played well tonight. But the problem is when the ball hits him, it stops. I digress with that when I say it stops because where's it going after that? Like he's in the post, everyone's in the other corner. Like what do you want? Like what do you want him to do? Do a swing pass to Evan Fournier, who's gonna brick it up anyway?
Yeah, and It
He was
feels
he was bad tonight. He's been good lately, but he was bad
he
tonight.
was good Sunday. Um, Invisible a bit tonight, and it feels like it's been a bit since Burks has had a standout game in general.
Well, because the thing is, now he's worried about bringing the ball up and distributing and running an offense when his role is get the ball, score. That's his role, and he's off the bench. Him and Cam Reddish are kind of similar, I feel like, because I think Burks would kind of be like Matisse Thybulle, just I think he's a little more talented. Um, he's a good defender, and I don't fault him for a lot of this because it's not his position, and I give him a lot of credit for trying it. But when you have Emmanuel Quickly and Cam Reddish, who openly played better than Burks and Fournier today, you're not going to hurt their feelings by benching them. Not even benching them, just playing the guys that are winning you games. And to move, I have two more points I'm going to make. One, Obi Toppin. I get it. You want him to play. Who are you taking out? And I don't want to hear you taking out Julius Randle. I don't know why Knicks fans want to bench him so bad. Oh, he loafs it up the court. Did you guys not watch last year? He did it last year too.
Did
He just scored 25 last year. So you guys liked him. So you know what? Like, no, I'm sorry. I can't get behind that because he's like, I don't know if we're going to get into baseball a little bit. But Robinson Cano, like, it's like he's not lazy. He's just kind of like laid back. And, as Randall, he always like,
one of my
he's not
favorites back in the day, baseball players.
Robbie. Oh, I hope I see him play this year. But like Randall, is he the most hardworking guy? I don't know. Like I'm not gonna say he's not hardworking. I don't like doing that, and we've been clear on that. And he's had his moments. But I see him tonight sprinting down the court a couple times. I see him bodying up, boxing out underneath. He's always been a good rebounder. He's always been physical. So that whole thing with Tibbs and like I just think his offense is very outdated. Julius Randle is not Joel Embiid, and that is not an insult.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And yeah, and then with Toppin, like I said, I just be careful. Be careful. Like I like Obi Toppin. I wanted Halliburton. We knew that. Be careful though, because when you see this guy play, he can't do what Randall does. Besides catching lobs, what does he really do? And you can argue we don't know because he doesn't play, but like you kind of get the idea. He can't shoot, and he has no dribble drive. Like what can he reasonably do without anyone else's help? So like that's my take on Toppin. I hope I'm wrong with that. And then our one saving grace of this run is RJ Barrett, who really just something switched after 2022 and something really switched in February, especially since he came back from the ankle injury. Wow, he's really playing well. This is the best I've ever seen him, and it's not really close. He's shooting with so much confidence. Like for a while, he would like catch the ball, he tried to set his feet and then shoot it. Now it's just like get it, go. And like it looks fluid. It finally looks fluid. It doesn't look hard. It doesn't look robotic. He's driving in the lane. He had 7 assists tonight. Like he is the main focal point of the offense. Until Mr. Tibbs was running a little dribble screen, post to Randall. We gotta name that play. We're gonna name that name what should we name that play? We're gonna name that play Baldy, because Tibbs has gotta get a Baldy. They run Baldy.
No what? Right hands.
No, yeah. Yeah, we'll set Stephen A on that. Yeah, we're gonna name or whatever. We'll name the play Tibbs.
Well, they're at their best when those two are just attacking the basket all the time. They set it right.
Literally, the play is I wish I can get a board up here. That'd be sick. But Randall dribbles to Fournier. They switch, and he posts him up. That's the play. Like you see. I don't know what it's called, but you hear Tibbs like whatever he's saying. He's loud.
Exactly what it says.
And it doesn't like you need Randall to be on for that play to always work. If you're off, you're still gonna make layups. You're still gonna get to the free throw line. hitting fadeaways isn't going to happen though, and that's the only thing that can happen with Randall. And tonight he hit him, and he played well tonight, and he attacked. He was clean. He only had a couple turnovers, which is going to happen when you're ball dominant. But with Barrett, they run this set. I like it a lot. I think it's called double. It's he gets the ball on the right elbow, like on the 3-point line, double screen, and he makes a move after that. He has the option of hitting the corner, hitting that corner, or the roller, or score. That's a motion. That's an offense, not post everyone get out of the way. And it works. He's averaging, 29 now in the last 5-6 games?
28 in the last 7.
And I really like he's really turning into the player that we wanted him to. And I heard Stephen A complaining, like, he makes me forget about John Moran a little bit. He wasn't available for you. You know what? Like, and then Jalen Rose, you heard Jalen Rose said, you should have lost more games. Hey, Jalen, respect you a lot. They had the worst record in the league that year. So they just lost the lottery.
It was a heartbreaker of a lottery.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe the 2 and 3 were better off because number one, we won't get into him too much because it's just a lot of drama at this point with that guy.
About him, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing, but he hasn't played yet. So like, what are we? He hasn't played this year. What are we gonna say?
My cousin's a big Knicks fan. He had to go for a walk after that lottery.
I knew we were gonna, as long as we were top 3, I knew we would get a good player. So like, I'm happy about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do I wish we had John Morant? I wish we had John Morant and RJ Barrett. But that's not how it works, obviously. But with the Knicks, it's obvious they need a point guard. I read a stat they had 20 assists tonight on 108 points. Like, I have 20 assists in my 2K game, and that's where you pull up from 3 all the time in 2K. Like, you probably play 2K, So I'm not mad about the Knicks. Like, I enjoy watching them play until the buzzer sounds, and then I don't. But I like, it's the same thing. It's like they don't have a point guard. I'm just gonna keep saying that they don't have a point guard.
It's always the blown leads on national television when
the Nets one was the worst.
Yeah, the Nets. I mean, tonight was annoying, but not that bad. You had to expect it.
Also, we've talked about it though. Is a 15-point lead blowing a lead anymore?
No.
Like, it's kind of like being up 4.
Yeah, and
so
yeah, and they just continue to, just disappoint fans on ESPN, which is sad. But like, do you miss Reggie Bullock? Like, is he gonna bring them back to the defense that they were last season?
I have.
Yes, my dad, Dallas.
My dad. I hope you're listening to this. It's so funny. He loves Reggie Bullock, and I do too, because he's playing well for Dallas. He's like Luka's favorite option because now Unicorn's gone. He is just adamant on the fact that Reggie Bullock, if he was on this team, they would have like 10 more wins. I'm like, Dad, probably not. Like, they'd be a lot better. Like, they'd be a lot better defensively. But he's Reggie Bullock. He's gonna give you 10 points, 12 points on a good day.
Yeah, I kind of. Me and Andrew called our one friend crazy. He said,
"By the way, Dad, have a safe flight. He's going to Buffalo tomorrow, so."
Oh, have a safe flight, Mr. Dortis.
Yeah, I don't know if this will be out. He might be home by the time this is out, but regardless, have a safe flight, Dad.
But me and Andrew and one of our other friends were debating in the summer. He was like, I might rather give Bullock $12 million or like pay him something rather than give Fournier what he got. And I was like, nah, you're crazy. He's also,
I think he's from Texas, Reggie Bullock. Because he's friends with Julius Randle, so they might have like grew up together or something of that nature. I'll check right now. Actually, they didn't play tonight, right? No, they beat the Lakers, who we will get into. Oh no, he's from Maryland, so I don't know where I got Texas from. He's from Baltimore. But he's in Dallas now, so Speaking of the Dallas beat the Lakers yesterday. Wow. They played decent yesterday. I just think Dallas is better than them. But the New Orleans game, that was embarrassing. I said this, I texted you this. As bad as the Knicks have been, they have not once looked like they didn't care. The Lakers flat out looked like they didn't want to be there. Against the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yes, it's and then
God,
it,
that was bad.
I want to say no, I don't think they were, but I was going to say I want to say they were booed Friday against the Clippers as well. Obviously,
They're
the
booed
loss.
every time they play.
It's bad, and it's deservingly so. They're unwatchable. They're on TV every single night. I think it was a question during the game tonight against the Sixers. It was like, are you going to compare the Lakers to the Knicks? Like Dave Pash asked JJ, and he was like, no. Like the expectation was completely different.
The Knicks don't have LeBron James.
Yes, and there's a bunch of guys, all top 75 players on
Of all time.
on the four on the Lakers, and they're all winners,
Should
winning
be
10
three.
games, and they just
Should be three.
I mean, you could argue Dwight could be on it too.
Am I lagging?
No,
I'm
you're
good.
not. Yeah,
All right, cool.
but it's just the expectation completely different. I mean, if anyone's going to tell you otherwise, it'd be Knick fans, but it's just completely different, easily, and not fans like you. But I mean, there is no relation. Clearly, the Lakers were a title favorite, but it's just the fact that LeBron and the leader that he is, and dude, those 3 games. The Clipper one, he takes the turnaround three. Paul George did off the side of the backboard. It actually looked kind of good, and then they kind of it was first of all it was the longest last minute in the world, like the replays,
I heard about that.
and then it was the challenges. It took so long, and then it was like a 4 or 5 point game the rest of the way, the last like 30 seconds. And you knew the Clippers were going to win. They just kept it in control. And then the Pelicans, you're down by 30. And then DeAndre Jordan makes that pass that had analysts, people like me and you, everyone laughing off their seat. And
I saw memes. Is this our first podcast since the Rams won the Super Bowl, or second?
Second, I think.
Okay, I was gonna say I saw it was like when Baker's throwing an OBJ.
And like poor Richard Jefferson had to do 2 straight in that building just to see embarrassments. Friday, first of all, they played no defense at all. None.
They haven't all year.
None. Even with AD. And like Westbrook being asking if he's taking the booze home with him. He's on the social media break. I see his wife posting it. I feel for my guy. I know you're a fan too, but it's like you guys are embarrassing.
One thing I will say, when we criticize people, I don't wish bad on your family. Like I'm not like in that crowd. I hate people like that. Like I understand, don't take it home to your kids, and like they say that's why like older players deal with failure better, because like they have families to go to and like kind of let them reset a little bit, rather than a guy that's 22, no family, just has to think about it all night by himself, or even if you're with your teammates, you're still around it. Like it's not a different mindset. So yeah, I don't blame. I don't. You shouldn't. If you're worried about that, like worried about people saying that about you, then their opinion don't matter. Because just we're talking about you from a basketball standpoint. Nice guy, probably. I don't know the guy, but like,
yeah, I've seen this documentary. It's just he just hates the media.
You can love your wife as much as you want, and I hope it's an unconditional, loving family. You're still hitting the side of the backboard.
Yeah.
Like
and in the reporter's defense, I don't know who it was, but maybe he meant that question in like, hey, you're from LA. Is it getting home? Like, are you gonna be thinking about it?
Oh,
Said maybe that's what it could have meant, but like, just thinking about it now, maybe. But
it
like you,
still hurts him. Like,
they're human beings, and like he
don't tell
is,
Twitter that.
he's a lot more tough-minded than people think too, and like,
He's also had a really successful career.
yeah, like you never know if they say they magically they could have a puncher's chance if they get past the play and like for a dark horse.
They got
Like
to
me,
get into the play-in though.
yeah, me and you like Dallas, we like Denver. We talked about our sleepers, but like they're kind of laughable. I mean, me and you have argued before, like, can they beat Utah? Can they beat Denver? We would say no, but like with those three players in a series with a healthy AD, it's like, and even if they made him like the one option, LeBron went more of a playmaker and just played a secondary scoring role. It's just like, are we really afraid of Denver with our experience? It's hard to give them any credit and say, hey,
Yeah,
this is going to turn around because it's not. But like, or it's looking like it's not. But like,
yeah.
yeah, like you said, they have a lot of ground to gain, and like they got who do they got tomorrow? Clippers, and they got ABC Saturday. They have Golden State at home, and those games are ugly too. But it's
They're
like
on TV again tomorrow.
every night they are, and they
Golden
just
State plays
players.
Dallas tomorrow.
Yep.
But I think the problem is like that's why they flex Memphis, Boston,
It was supposed
from
to be,
Miami,
yeah,
which is kind of shocking, especially that the Durant probably wasn't supposed to play. That's probably why.
yeah.
Um,
We'll
but
touch on that in a second. We'll finish up with the
yeah,
Lakers.
but I'm gonna just go through real quick because you were talking about like so hypothetically everyone's healthy because you said Davis is healthy. You know, Phoenix fully healthy. Lakers beat them.
No,
Okay. Golden State,
no,
Memphis,
likely not. But they have a chance.
Utah.
You're only afraid of Morant in that series. Desmond Bane's kind of, I don't want to say hit a wall, but he's not what he was.
Hmm.
Jaren Jackson, like they're not going to be afraid of Memphis. Utah, same boat.
Dallas,
A little bit of a higher tier than them.
Denver, fully healthy. Because I think Denver fully healthy is the third best team in the West.
I would say with Davis, Lakers in 7.
Dude, they're 7 games under 500, and they lost 7 of 10.
It's
You know what the
it's
Lakers need? You know in
it's
2K
tough.
when you could take off progressive fatigue?
That's what they need.
They need that.
No,
What?
but yeah, we could laugh about the Mickey Mouse ring or whatever people want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the best team; they were going to win it. But it's like,
It helped giving them a break, though.
yeah, and now, I mean, they weren't as old at the time, clearly, but now it's like you got on TV every night, and you get destroyed. You get destroyed, and you just get laughed at. You get walked all over on the defensive end. You get Westbrook bulging his eyes, looking very.
Yeah.
I don't want to say insecure, or I don't want to say worried because he's not, and he's one of the toughest minded players probably of our generation. But it's like, bro, I'm sorry, LeBron brought you into this. They had that whole. I don't know if we've done a pod since this, but like LeBron's whole all like happy trails on All Star Weekend and like saying that
But this
about
is our first one since the second half, so.
yeah, saying that stuff about Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. It's like we have 3 All-Stars, and
And
it's
it's
great
like
for this.
yeah, and and saying the door's not shut. I was listening to Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo talk about it. They were like, LeBron just has someone told Russillo that he just does this thing of constant pressure wherever he is, like especially in the last when things aren't looking good, like Cleveland, like he did. He's doing it now with that All-Star weekend, even though Rich Paul went to the front office and said, you know, he's remaining a Laker. Praise Sam Presti saying like, oh, he's the real MVP, stuff like that. He really is, but is that something saying, let me take LeBron's kid in the future?
Yeah, it's like literally he basically said, if you take my son, you'll have me. I don't think people realize by that point he'll be like 40, and
Yeah,
like LeBron's just gonna be a
out him though, but
well,
he's not
yeah,
winning the championship. I'll tell you that. That's my
yeah.
opinion. Like he's not. He's proving now that he doesn't have what it takes to carry a team anymore. Like he's proven it these past 2 years, and I'm sure you could agree with me if they lose in the first round again or don't make it out the play. And I'm done with the Jordan comparisons. I am.
Also, side note, like I said, just praying everyone's safe. Everything going on, COVID and foreign countries. Just
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually like trying to like I'm being serious, like just making
Yeah.
sure everyone's safe. We were just talking about before, like the COVID year is the year the Lakers won. That was what we were trying to get with that. So you're gonna write them off? No, I can't. No, no, you can't do that. No, because no one values Jordan's Wizard years. You can't do that. He's 37 years old.
All right. Well,
Can't no, I can't do that.
he might not make it out the first round, and
He might not make the playoffs. Yeah, but for his sake, LeBron's averaging 29, 8, and 6, shooting 35% from three, 52 from the field, 76 from the line, 75 from the line.
playing like he can carry a team. It just doesn't translate into wins. I mean, maybe on a Thunder team with Bronny and Pokashevsky and
Shea and Giddy.
Shea and Giddy and Baisley, maybe he can. He's not winning them a title.
Yeah, but he can't win. He can't win 4 top 75 players though, or 3.
That's like Chris Paul to. I mean, he brought them to the finals, and they're the favorite now. But that's like Chris Paul changing the Suns is what LeBron would do in Oklahoma City.
That's a hot take. I like that.
He wouldn't take them to the finals, but he'd make them.
He might.
The TNT lights would be on. We know that.
Oh yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder would all of a sudden be the most popular. Who knows? Bronny James is a superstar. So the other teams in the bubble right now, not the bubble, the play-in. Portland's 11. They're tied with New Orleans. San Antonio's 12, 25 and a half out. So they're 2.5 out. So the Lakers could beat them. Can they beat Minnesota?
That is a good question.
Because they can't guard Anthony Edwards, Cat, and either D'Lo or like Malik Beasley gets hot.
I'll go Lakers in 7 again.
Well, no, it's a play-in, so it's only one game.
My apologies. That's right. You did say that. I will go. I think they beat them. But if it was a playoff series, I could see 6 or 7 games, and I believe that that's a compliment in Minnesota.
Yeah. What about the Clippers? Because I know like Kawhi's out. PG might be back. But it doesn't seem to matter.
Clippers would beat them. I think. I really do.
This is going to be like, it should be like, oh, well, it just happened. But what do you think New Orleans in a playoff setting beats them?
You kind of read my mind. No, I don't.
I kind of agree with that. It's just, it's still LeBron James. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's tough to base it or just, determine or predict it anyway, just based off Sunday night. But it's like, I don't see that happening again, especially in their own build. And they got killed by McCollum in their own building. It's just, I really don't see that happening. Even with, especially with AD, like I don't see them spanking the Lakers again.
It's just like, is he guaranteed to be there? I have a fun little thing we could do, a little wager. What happens first? A Major League Baseball game is played, or Anthony Davis comes back. Keep in mind, There might not even be a season.
Yeah, so it's tough. I'll give it to Davis because, like, if anything, we don't know where we're at with that. We're gonna close with that, I assume.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could talk about Ja a little bit,
Yeah,
but
thing. So I'll switch us in a minute. But
I'd have to go with Davis as well, just because I have no idea with baseball.
like, if anything, he'll come back and get hurt again. If that happens in the season, knock on wood. I apologize, but it's like, can you stay on the court? But like, maybe that's a big part of why they're not consistent. I mean, they've been losing
Yeah,
games,
that's a big reason.
as everybody knows. They lose, like, they've been struggling as a whole, and they're the worst defensive team of all time again. But I mean, that it was laughable how that New Orleans game was, and I'm ready for the Laker documentary Showtime or whatever it's called with John C. Riley. I mean, Jeannie Buss left the building in the New Orleans game,
Yeah.
and hopefully LeBron doesn't have other plans and doesn't pressure them so much. But it's just hopefully, people were saying, like, I think they were saying on the Bill Simmons podcast, was like, Jeannie's tough, like maybe she's giving it to them in the front office
It's
and
not money talks.
and yeah, it's just, you guys just got to do this. Like, everybody look in the mirror. Now's the time.
Y'all wanted these guys. Like,
Yeah, like
you
LeBron.
can't blame but I bring Rob Pelinka more than the owner.
Yeah, and like when LeBron puppeted him and Davis puppeted him to get Westbrook, and they're acting like they didn't do this.
Yeah.
But to another team that you aren't really optimistic about, Kevin Durant finally returns tomorrow versus Miami at Barclays. Ben Simmons, his status still remains unknown with his return. He's working on his shooting with Kyle Korver. He's got that little lower back issue that's bothered him the past few years. It's been a little issue he's dealt with, a little bit here and there, but he's got it right now. Do you think he plays in Philly March 10th? I remember he said everyone thinks there's no way, like he's got to stay away from it. Everyone's like, does he come back? Like, this is starting to be a debate. My thing is, like, I remember he said, I'll be excited. Like, I'll play, and like I'm ready for that. But
Okay.
can't
So,
be
what?
can't be surprised if he doesn't play that game. But what do you
Okay,
think?
so that game is March 10th, 7:30, Philly.
TNT.
Their next TNT. The next game after that is March 13th, St. Patty's Day. Selection Sunday, actually, for you March Madness friends. They play the Knicks at 1 o'clock. March 13th will be his first game because he's going to avoid that game. He couldn't take it as a player on the Sixers. It's going to be even worse, like the booing he's going to get. So I don't – and it's 3 games away. 4 games away? It's 4 games away. If he's healthy, I don't know. I saw a thing. It's like Isaiah Thomas, Joe Johnson, and Lance Stevenson got off the couch at 40 years old and played. And you have to get into game shape when you willingly sat out.
Yeah.
And we talked about his issues with Philly.
It's like the Garden would be even tougher for him, first of all. I know they have a game at Orlando.
You think so?
Yeah. I think there'd be some, heckle, some boos. Why not?
No, I think it's more of like a personal thing with the Sixers than anything.
Yeah.
Right now, no one's really on his side besides the Nets.
Yeah, it's going to be bad regardless in Philadelphia. It's going to be terrible. But
Imagine they play him in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say,
Nets have no shot.
Let's get him. Let's get him ready now. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah.
If he's ready in a week, like bring him back the 8th or whatever. But they got Orlando that week after the Knicks. There's a down game for you to pick him for, but it's like,
Yeah, Orlando doesn't care.
If he's ready the 10th, I'd get it out of the way. Let's do it.
Do you think the problem is Philly ain't gonna let up after one like if they play him in the playoffs, like they play him in March 10th and then they don't play him again, but they meet in the playoffs, which that could happen because hey, say the Nets are probably gonna end up in the playing game, I think, just because of the way the East is, like unless Cleveland keeps
Yeah,
falling.
time's coming down on them too. With
Yeah,
it's Sunday, big test. They got the Celtics, ABC. Kyrie
yeah.
and Durant will play.
Like I'm looking at their next couple. They're play like Katie's back tomorrow, but like Kyrie can't play. So
Yeah,
like, but then they got Miami, then they got Boston.
they just
Charlotte's
lost to
tough.
Toronto twice too, and they're
Yeah,
behind them.
Charlotte's they lost to Toronto twice. Oh, they got
Yeah,
beaten. You said
yeah.
Charlotte's could be tough. Depends on the Kelly Oubre and LaMelo Ball and like what offense shows up. Philly really tough. Knicks all right. Magic meh. Dallas, Portland Utah, Memphis, Miami, Charlotte. Like they don't have an easy schedule, and they are still the Nets. But they also got a gel still.
Yeah, and you only got like X
And
amount of
I don't
games.
mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I said like I'm reading off my phone. I said Dallas, Utah, Charlotte. All those games are at home, meaning you don't have Kyrie Irving. And I don't know when this like it's a weird rule.
The
Like you can go to the game, but you can't play in the. I don't know. It's confusing. But all I know is that he can't play right now.
He's hopeful that it'll work out his way by the 14th, but yeah, by the 7th,
Yeah,
we saw Eric Adams was on TV the other day talking about it, saying, you know,
can't make an exception to him.
yeah, and it would we
That
don't
makes
want
sense.
the city to get locked down again, and it's the fact that it would screw everyone else, and it
Like
would
people with like regular working jobs that have to leave their jobs because of this kind of thing, and then you're
he
gonna let a basketball player do it. So like it's
exactly
just it's common sense.
yeah, and so between March
And
7th and 14th is going to be big for them, but
they're
yeah,
32 and 31.
bad, and then you got
Kevin
those
Durant deserves MVP just for that.
while while Philly's having their fun adventure and fun reign now, it's like
It'll fizz out.
the clock's ticking for Brooklyn. You have to gel and you have to be ready for the postseason. Now Simmons does fill their needs, but you guys got to be ready to roll in a month.
Do you do you think Harden? Do they play? They already played in the Garden, so that doesn't really matter. But I say if Harden is in Brooklyn, I don't know how badly he gets booed.
He gets booed pretty bad. Not
By
like
but Philly fans are a lot more passionate than Brooklyn Nets
there
fans. Let's
might
be
be more
honest.
Philly fans, but he'll still get he'll still get a lot
Yeah,
of boos.
like
Not like big
um
booed, but booed very atrociously. Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
Well, I feel like the problem is like you can't boo James Harden when he's like the third biggest distraction on the team. Because like Ben Simmons would have been a bigger one, and Kyrie Irving, while it's not really his fault, like a lot of it is just people talking about him.
It wasn't really his fault. Yeah, this
It's
was
his
just
decision, and I kind of respect him for keep staying there. And he hasn't really like complained about it. Like I mean, he doesn't agree with the rule, and that's fine. But he hasn't pushed to like play and like break the rules or anything. He sits when they're at home and he plays on the road, and he's really good.
well, yeah. What I was saying, I'm sure you know, I was talking about Harden when I said it's not his fault. But yeah, with Kyrie,
Okay, okay.
I see what you're saying. It's just like James, he'll get booed, but like, yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. But it's like with Irving, he was nice about it. He was like very minimal when he had his Sixers intro. He said, you know, his status, like
You mean Harden?
James said, yeah, he said, when he got introduced, he said it was very minimal, Kyrie's thing and status, the way, it affected James and it was
Hmm.
fine. It didn't, he was, I'm sure they're really close friends, obviously.
Yeah.
Most basketball fanatics probably realize that. It's just like he was basically saying, dude, what am I getting into? I thought we were ready to win a championship. He won't even play full time. Like, this is all on him. And he's getting away scot-free with it. And he might be allowed full time. And now if he was traded to Philly and he came back to Brooklyn, he would get booed and eaten alive, like the Celtics, because of all this. Yeah, this is my home, all this. And then he costed his team greatness that was supposed to be. But
Yeah. I don't. I'm not a big fan of like forcing your way out of like depending like Lillard. It wouldn't really be forcing his way out. It'd be more mutual, in my opinion. I don't understand why a guy like Donovan Mitchell would want out, but if you want to come to the Knicks, I'm more than okay with it. Zion, I don't get, and I just don't think he's played long enough. But like with Dame makes sense. Dame has like a Matt Stafford feel to it. Like it's like a mutual like we're not winning anytime soon. Go get a ring. But he doesn't want to leave, and I respect that. But back to Harden. I don't know. I feel like this is the second time in a calendar year he's done this. So
yeah,
it's like
talk about it. We
as
know.
soon as stuff goes bad, because we know Embiid is an emotional guy, but he's been loyal to Philly, and I love that about him. And hate playing against him, but I love that about him. And if it goes a little sideways, what's Harden going to react with?
Yeah, and like we said, one of our recent pods, you said it's like you're walking on eggshells with both him and Simmons, and it's just that's the biggest thing. It's fun right now, and he's really happy. It's just you got to keep up these vibes, and you got to. We've seen him flake on
It
and off.
stinks though that you have to walk on eggshells.
Yeah, and we've seen him flake on and off the court in Game Sevens with Houston, and the biggest of moments in the postseason, and that was his biggest criticism going to Brooklyn was like, you gave up on Houston, you forced your way out, you didn't deliver in the biggest of games, and
Yeah.
you know he has stated a bunch of times this is where he's always wanted to be, and he's always wanted to play with Joel House. There was reports that he wanted him in Houston with him, but now this is the happiest they've both ever been. Let's see you deliver, James. Both of you guys got to be healthy. Let's keep this train going.
It feels like when you're in like a relationship for a long time and it goes and like you break up or whatever and you meet someone right away and like you like think right away like, oh my God, I've never been happier. Like I met
That's
my
exactly,
soulmate.
yeah.
Like that's what it feels like.
Just channeling your inner Colin Coward there with the human relations.
I actually I really like his show. Like I know like he doesn't hate Baker Mayfield, but like he has got strong opinions about him and he's allowed, but I like his show. His take on John Morant was a little weird if you want to get into that now. Did you see what he said?
I no, I didn't see the take, but what did he say about him?
He said that his play style is not sustainable for like championships because he mentioned Russell Westbrook, John Wall, and Derrick Rose.
Well, this guy looks like Iverson, so I
Yeah.
mean, you could have said that about a lot of guards, but like, yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. Just because he's still young as could be, and he is putting up MVP numbers. He his last 9 games, he's put up a high 40s recently.
He scored like 100 points in the last 2 games combined or something like that.
Yeah, and last 9 games, 33 points, 5.9 assists, 5.6 boards, 52% from the field. His last 5 game log stat lines, here they are. 52 points, 52 and 7. I forget if it's rebounds or assists, but 52 and 7, 46 and 4, 28 and 4, 40, 11 assists, 44, 11 assists, 5 boards, 26, 6 and 6. It's on another level. And there's a million analysts out there that are like, oh, he is the most entertaining show in basketball right now.
Yeah, he's the new Derrick Rose.
Not the Grizzlies, but the show he puts on. He continuously wows you night in, night out, especially on the road, like those 360 layups, the game he had in Chicago, where I think that's where he had one of the 40s, but he just continues to amaze, and especially when he's not even. I mean, we've seen his head go to the top of the backboard, to the highest on the glass, and it's just the way he could pull up. He'll hit a dagger shot. His jump shooting, the way he finishes around the rim, his craftiness. It's like he's a point guard, but it's like
He's Iverson.
It's like AI, but it's like
More controlled.
yeah. I was gonna say like AI and Chris Paul for some reason, but
Oh wow, that's
his craftiness with the basketball. And it's just he's got the Derrick Rose finishing ability, like we said.
Do you think he's the MVP right now? I don't think so, but
No. The MVP right now is Embiid, and then you could argue Jokic, and then Giannis and DeRozan.
thank you. I'm gonna say like this guy's the 1 seed in the East, is he? Or he's the 2 seed? No matter what, he's high.
I think Miami is.
It's Miami is the 1 seed, Chicago 2, Philly right behind them, Milwaukee right behind them, and then Cleveland, Boston tied for 5th. Yeah, I think it's DeRozan, but I think
Credit.
I don't know if it's Embiid.
That's what he's gonna make.
Do you see what Jokic what he's putting up too? And I know there's a 6 seed, but he's kind of the only guy on the team. They lost tonight to OKC actually. He had 22 and 16. He's averaging 26, 14, and 8. That's stupid.
Doncic as well is putting up off the chart.
Luka's having a good year. And
dunk off the Dinwiddie missed 3 last night.
It seems like Dinwiddie hurt us when we made fun of him. But no, but I think he's already got voter fatigue. He's 23.
Yeah, and
that kind of stinks. But
coming into the year, he was everyone's pick last year. But he'll win one soon. And like
they gotta be a top 3 seed for him to win.
Yeah, I'm going to see him on the 13th when
KG Day, right?
Yeah, KG Day. I'm pretty excited. Maybe Dinwiddie will have a good one.
Yeah, well, I want their point guard not their point guard. I want their 2 guard, I guess, in Jalen Brunson because he could play the point.
Dinwiddie comes off the bench still.
Yeah. So, Rob, let's move on. What do I got here? Oh. You know what this is, right? You know, we could just chuck this because we don't need them right now. That was my.
Wait, should we briefly discuss? Should I do the brief Celtics real quick?
If you want, I'll grab my glove while I'm doing that.
No, but just since we were talking about John, they play Memphis tomorrow on TNT again. The first TNT outing was last night in Boston of the year. They have another one tomorrow, rightfully so. We've been rolling. Home against John, the Grizzlies, and then Sunday afternoon, like we said, on ABC against Brooklyn. But they have only dropped 5 of their last 20, 3 out of 15, 19 and 6 in the last 25. They continue to roll since January 1st, first in defensive efficiency, first in opponent's field goal percentage, first in opponent's points per game, first in opponent's assists per game. And they just continue to get it done. They're first in net rating offensively and defensively in the NBA. They seem to have the best starting 5 at the moment, believe it or not, just the way they play.
Really?
Obviously not the names, but it's just fully healthy. Things just changed. It was everything between the defenses, the coaching. I couldn't continue to just be amazingly proud of Ime.
I meant to ask you that. Like, how are you a fan of him?
I am, and I was the biggest Brad Stevens fan, still am, but it's like just because of the Spurs thing with Derek White and the assistant Will like they have now and how they met in the USA camp, like I told you, and It's just the fact that the Jays wanted him, and I like how he has a lot of experience as a player overseas, as a player who's been through a lot. And like guys like that when you're a tough guy who played and you know what it's like to have a lot of experience in the game. And that's one thing that he
Hmm.
had on Brad, besides Brad being a coaching genius, is just his playing experience. But it's just, yeah, it was defense, coaching, health, and they seem to have the best five net rating, offensive and defense. And it's just the Jays continue to be unselfish, do their thing. You know, Jalen's out tomorrow after that ankle tweak, looked a little rough. Hopefully, he'll be back Sunday. Marcus Smart
Yeah, just
continues.
rest him. I wouldn't rush him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marcus Smart continues to be the motor of this whole thing. Grant Williams is bench play. They gone to the short bench. Tice hasn't played a lot since the deadline. They gone to the playoff rotation. So it's like Grant Williams, Derek White doing their job. First guys off the bench, running it. Um, both have been White's been awesome as a Celtic as we expected, and then Horford will get his do his job on the glass and just be the guy who he is, manning the defense and owning the defense really, and a great passer, and really just led by the Jays, and it's just Robert Williams, like we said, just continues to be a monster in the stat sheet and defensively. And I feel like Marcus Smart is the motor of this whole thing. And everyone, there's a lot of chatter that's like, oh, are they a contender? Well, they make a run. That's the big thing now. And I gave you all the numbers. It's, their biggest thing is like, that's the beauty of it that we're here is that like we remember talking in January and December when they're going through that blown Nick game, the RJ buzzer, the losing to the Spurs, losing to Minnesota,
They were just like finding ways to lose.
losing to Atlanta. Yeah, it's just amazing that we're back. This is probably the best they've been in like 2 years. I'm pretty sure since they've had Hayward and Kemba that they've been 10 games over 500 in 1920. And, you could argue that, you know, I think that they could be a contender, but it's like if they keep this up. But you could argue it. You still got Brooklyn, Philly, Milwaukee, Miami.
Yeah, the East
I'm
is
not.
loaded.
Yeah, so I would like to throw them in that mix. I'm not really afraid, as you would understand, of like Chicago could be scary. Cleveland is still Cleveland, but like I would put Boston in the mix of those top five because of not only who they are now and what they're doing, but their experience. The Jays, Marcus, Al, now Rob has become such a key player.
Derek White was on the Spurs, so he knows a thing or two about like culture and stuff like that.
And what you need in the playoffs is like when it slows down is a lot of ISO guys. That's what they got with the Jays.
It's
And
talent versus talent.
yeah, you got that with Tatum and Brown. You got the defense. Like that's what they feed off their defense. It turns into offense. Like losing by 14, 65-51 at half yesterday. They come out in the second half. They go on a 14-0 run based off their defense and Tatum's dominance and the ball movement. Grant Williams was awesome, like I said, and he's done his job. But it's the defensive versatility of Robert Williams and Al Horford that's gonna propel them. And I could see them making a conference final run if all things went well and things went their way. These really are going to be just a wild playoffs. Like the East is so elite, wild.
Yeah, if there was gonna be a baseball's my favorite sport. If there's gonna be a year where there's a lockout, I think this would be a good year because the NBA playoffs is gonna be really good. But do you want me to
Yeah,
throw my glove again?
yeah, that's it with the Celtics. I was just going to say maybe they don't have a ceiling, but
We don't need this
sorry.
right now, guys. I want to throw it again. Damn. But so we're gonna talk about baseball a little bit.
Sad day yesterday.
Yeah. I feel like it wouldn't have been as bad before I get into my little rant. It wouldn't have been as bad if Sunday or not Sunday, Monday, it seemed like the deal was like gonna happen. I'm in class. I'm in public speaking on Monday night. I know, a lot of fun, right? I'm in public speaking at 9:30 at night. I'm checking my phone and I'm looking. I'm like, they're gonna get a deal done because like it's saying like, okay, they agreed on this and they agreed on that. I'm like, okay, those are big steps. Like there was still a little bit things to do. And then Tuesday came around and it kind of came out that it was kind of fluff. And then Rob Manfred, we love him. um, I'm joking. um, canceled the first two series. So that's a week. It doesn't seem that bad, but here it goes. I don't know when they're gonna play. I really don't. A lot of players and personnel officials think they're gonna play 140 games. They're gonna like wait till it's like 15 games cut off or whatever, because that's the TV deal, and also that's when owners start losing revenue and money. So you don't want to lose past that. That's the point of this whole thing. That's the whole greedy thing about it. And with that, I see a lot of people on Twitter, Instagram, social media, whatever, blaming the owners, which, yeah, they locked them out. You didn't have to lock them out. Yeah, they waited till January or February to get this thing started, like negotiations. They put soft deadlines. They did all that. I agree with that. Owners are wrong in that sense. But at the same time, a lot of people are taking the stance the owners don't make any money unless the players play. Agreed. The players don't make any money, though, if the fans don't go. So I feel like that's kind of getting lost in this. And it trickles down. And also, I feel like what is writing on Twitter going to do for like this negotiation? What is calling out the owners on Twitter really going to do? Like, just get in the room and negotiate. And if they don't want to make you a fair offer, then just push it. Just keep pushing and just listen and listen. And when you're done listening again. And that goes for the owners too. And like, Rob, I don't really know if you understand like the ins and outs of it, but like the collective bargaining tax, the
Yeah.
the arbitration rules, all that stuff, the bonus pool money, like all that stuff. There's numbers they're trying to meet in the middle on. After
Yeah.
that, then they have like some little things to throw out, and like hopefully it's not that many games. But the problem is, it feels like they're worried. Like both sides are worried about being liked. Who cares? Like I'm not picking a side here because you know what? There's no baseball. Well, whoever's fault it is, there's no baseball right now. And you know
Yeah.
what? We're losing years of Mike Trout, Jacob DeGrom, Ronald Acuna, Shohei Ohtani, these young
Sure.
guys like Wander
Sure.
Franco. You go to Boston, you got Devers. Like you're losing all these guys like prime of their career. I forgot someone. Vlad Guerrero. I forget Juan Soto. Like Bryce Harper. Like there's so many talented players. Tatis. And we're just sitting here, just making it about business. Well, I understand baseball is a business, but at the end of the day, as a selfish fan, I want to watch baseball. So you know what? Find a deal where the owners want short-term revenue. Get that done now, and then satisfy the players for the long run for inflation reasons, which makes sense. And the whole billionaire versus millionaire thing isn't accurate because not every baseball player makes millions, and I feel like people don't realize that. But that's my rant. It's just mad frustrating that this could have like why did the owners wait so long to do this? But at the same time, there was a rumor that the players could have made an offer Monday night. Why didn't they make an offer? Like why? What are you trying to prove here? I understand you want your pay and you don't want to get screwed anymore. I get that, but then you shouldn't have waited 9 days like till there was 9 days left of this deadline to push hard at this. Should have been pushing hard at this 2 months ago, and that's on the owners because the owners didn't want to, for some reason, negotiate right away. But that's my take.
Yeah. And as soon as we saw that it was like the deadline Monday, we knew like it was just heading south. I mean, like you said,
Yeah, and
Monday looked
yeah,
things done, but it took this long. And like you feel for ownership,
you feel
everyone wants to
you feel
have
for everyone.
yeah, everyone wants to hate on Manfred, but like you got like
He works for the owners.
yeah, and you got I saw a quote that like Passan wrote that said like they think everyone thinks we're idiots like the fans and stuff, which is the frustrating thing,
Do
and
you
it
know
like
Blue Jays pitcher Ross Stripling said like they were like put things in fine print and like act like try to make us play dumb. And that's not fair. I get that. Don't treat us like puppets. I get that. It's just like I feel bad for like not even as a fan, but like how about the concession workers that work in the stadiums or like the grounds crew and people like that who that's their livelihoods.
yeah, and
They're
it's
not
like
making millions. Even some players aren't making millions. We know that, but like some players aren't.
yeah, and there's a lot of more of those guys that we can imagine, and like you got like the barstool guys like Frank the Tank,
He was
Chan Man
yeah.
Fraud, and like I feel for him, and I feel for Passan too, just like tweeting
Nothing to
away,
write about. There's nothing to
and he's on top of everything. Like he was on the Michael K show, he's tweeting up a storm about what's going on, and like it's a shame that like we're not getting a deal done, and we're not going to be looking forward to that April Fool's Day afternoon or that
if
March.
someone does that to me, if it's like we don't have a deal and someone says baseball's back on oh
We're
my
going to
god.
see it on the internet. There's not a doubt in our
Oh
minds.
yeah, well, but it's
When it's not, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, April Fools."
yeah. I think they're meeting on Thursday. I'm gonna say Thursday because I don't know when this is coming out. Probably you'll probably hear this on Friday, but Thursday I think they're going to meet, so that'll probably be yesterday. Maybe there's a deal done when you guys hear this, but I doubt it. But
And you got Stroman, your guy, tweeting like Manfred's got to go and stuff.
yeah,
And
he's not alone with that.
yeah,
I think they're meeting tomorrow, meeting Thursday, the 4th or 3rd. So I don't think like they're far apart, but I don't think it's impossible because Manfred, they said like the final best offers thing. Manfred did say that he never really said that, and he said it was more for this 9-day period. So say they make significant progress on Thursday and Friday, all of a sudden you're a little close, and then you gotta when you get the deal, then you gotta worry about paying for like the 162 games or like paying back money and stuff like that. So I think if you give it one more week, I don't think a side's gonna cave. I truly don't think that, but I think they're gonna start to get a little desperate, so they're gonna be a little bit more willing to give a little bit because I can't picture us not playing a season because then everyone loses. You
yeah,
because the players lose, the owners lose, we lose, everyone loses. So I
totally.
think that 140 game mark is a fair number right now.
Yeah, it looks more and more realistic. At least they're making them, you know,
A little
some
bit of progress, you know.
yeah, and like we just gotta hope for the best, and you know, hopefully we're hearing that crack of the barrel soon. And we all
It's like this time, like, this is going to sound super weird. And if for some reason this is our biggest podcast and this blows up, I'm going to get so much hate from what I'm about to say. It's almost like, as a fully sports fan, you'd rather like lose like September and October, even though it's the World Series, than right now, because at least in September and October, you got like football starting. We're worried about like this going into like the summer
I was gonna
and
say,
there's nothing on. And then it's like, also this time of year, it's spring. Baseball, like you get the urge and the itch for it. While like in the end, especially as a Mets fan, the Mets don't make the playoffs a lot. Um,
yeah,
so they don't go there as much. But I just think obviously I want to watch the World Series. I'm a baseball fan. I like watching the playoffs. But
yeah, when your team's got a lot of high hopes as well.
yeah, and that's probably why all this is happening because the Mets have high hopes, and nothing good can ever happen to the Mets. Um, except for the ball through Buckner's legs.
Ah,
That's all right. You guys have won like 3 in the last 15 years or something
yeah.
like that.
I mean,
Yeah, oh 04, oh
one
07,
that
and 18, right?
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, four,
You won with Mookie, you
18.
won with and then Pedroia, and then was it Schilling?
think they won 4 in 15 years. Oh 07,
Well, all four was the curse.
not 11. What am I saying? Oh 07, 13, 8.
Oh yeah, they won with Koji, the
Yeah,
closer Koji Uehara, Petey Dustin Pedroia.
yeah, 13 was fun.
Yeah, but so yeah, that's our take on this. We want to talk about baseball more, but
It's not here yet.
yeah, and basketball is exciting right now. So what we're not going to talk about is baseball when there's nothing going on, and it stinks. But at the same time, I think when we come out of this, it's going to be for the better of the sport. While people don't, you see a lot of people like, I'm never watching baseball again. Okay. As soon as Ronald Acuna is about 500 feet, you're going to be tuning in. Um, and numbers were going up before before
Yeah.
COVID, like numbers were going up. Like baseball was like actually doing really well. Then COVID hit, all this Astro stuff,
Mhm.
and you just got to limit the damage right now and then start that uptick again. And I think with the amount of young talent in the game right now, I think that we have the ability to get that back. And
Totally.
I just I don't think MLB is going away. Like I don't think any of that. Even if we lose the whole season, the MLB is not going away. It's worth so much money, and attendance revenue is like not even the whole revenue. Like it's like half of it. So it's just yeah, I just want baseball. Like we're baseball fans, you know. But right now we got an exciting basketball season to cover, and we apologize for our lack of consistency posting. But you know we're gonna get it out every week. We're gonna grind. You know, Tom Brady didn't take days off. I still don't think he's taking days off.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Nothing to worry about. It's basically what we've been doing too. We're gonna do plenty of weeks where we do more than once as well.
yeah, we were talking about that too. Comment below actually if you'd rather us do two short ones a week or one long one. Um, and we'll talk about that. Me and Rob, just business partners, but also friends.
Oh yeah.
um, I was so excited when I came on here and I saw his head was just shaved.
It was the first thing you
I
said.
was
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
I usually get that.
But besides that, that's all I got. Do you have any plugs for the week, Rob?
Nothing. I wrote a big Raptor story 2 nights ago. It's in my socials, Rob Green NBA, my links and the bios. But yeah, it's the only thing. Probably gonna do another sort of story in the next few days. Celtics continue to roll. Big game tomorrow night. No other plugs really though, besides this and the Raptor story. But what about you, my friend?
Well, before I get into my plugs, just like always, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, socials, all that stuff. My socials are YouTube accounts, or Sports Bible Podcast on YouTube. Please try to grow that one. I'm really looking forward to that. It's actually not doing terrible, figuring that this is a very new podcast and me and Rob aren't like famous. Like we're just some two kids from Jersey. Um, so please follow, please subscribe, like, share, tell your friends. We're gonna start putting out shorts. I keep saying that, but I'm gonna make a TikTok. We're gonna make a TikTok, and then we got big plans involved with this, especially with summer coming up and me graduating soon. Um, I'm gonna plug my thank you. I'm gonna plug. I wrote an article on the Cleveland Browns free agency checklist, and I'm gonna plug it below if you guys want to look at that. It'll be appreciated. Um, Besides that, that's all I really got. You got anything else, Rob?
That's it, man. Another beautiful episode. Continue to grow.
Knicks
Continue to
still
get better.
stink.
Getting more and more consistent. We're just having fun.
Yep. Alrighty. I'll see you next week.
Yep. You too, my friend.